Okay, looks like we're live here. My name is Callie Falke, and I am part of the social media team here at Medifast, and I am so happy to be here with our very own behavioral specialist, Nick Frye. Nick, go ahead and say hi.
Hello, everyone.
All right, and Nick's going to go ahead and talk to us today about a very popular subject, something that we don't always think about right away when you think about losing weight, is what happened after. So Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be talking about that fear of weight regain. You know, a lot of those fears and anxieties and worries that we might feel the closer we get to goal, as we go into transition, or as we're maintaining our new weight. There's a lot of thoughts and feelings that come up and arise for people that can be troubling, disturbing even, and can actually get in the way of our ability to maintain our success. So it's definitely a major challenge for a lot of people, and hopefully we're going to learn some interesting things today. We're going to answer some questions today about it. But before we kind of begin and get into everything, to kind of set everything up a little bit, I wanted to do a little analogy here that I think is going to be really, really cool and interesting. Hopefully going to fit right in with Halloween as well. So when we're talking about kind of fears and anxieties when it comes to regaining weight and things like that, I like to draw the comparison to a horror movie. I don't know, Hallie, if you watch horror movies during Halloween time and everything. A lot of people enjoy scary movies and things like that. So what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you're watching a horror movie in a rickety old house. There's creaking and cracking going on, and you're by yourself, and all the lights are off. It's completely dark, and the only light shining is from the television, and it's playing, and it's blaring this awful and terrible horror movie, right? That's a pretty scary scene, right? But now I want you to think about that same exact horror movie on the same TV, but now instead of all the lights are out, the sun is shining through the window. And instead of being by yourself, all your friends and family are in the house. And instead of it being an old rickety house, it's your home where you're at, and you're laughing and having a good time with your friends. Now, the movie itself, the horror movie, hasn't changed. The movie is still exactly the same, but how you're interacting with it is now completely different. And now we've reduced the impact that the scary movie has on you. Now it's a lot less scary, it's a lot less frightening because we're dealing with it in a different way. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about when it comes to fear of regaining weight, all those anxieties that we feel. It's not that we can make those things go away, to disappear, because fear and anxiety is a perfectly natural and normal human experience. It's how can we deal with them in a different way so that they're not quite as scary. So hopefully that's what we're going to get out of the call today.
I love that analogy, Nick. Good deal. You always put it right in just the right words. I love it. And very nice, considering we're a week away from Halloween here. I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the direction we're going to go. I want to start us off first with a question we received right along those same lines. And it comes from Kathy. And Kathy, I apologize if I do not pronounce your last name right. Petrie or Petri. And she says, I know how to lose weight. I don't know how to maintain it. Exercise is and has been a part of my lifestyle for years, so I have that side of the equation mastered. I'm down to my goal weight and already have started off-plan with food. Started with off-plan foods with no willpower, with portions or content. I'm either on plan or out of control. Help.
Absolutely. Well, hi, Kathy. Thank you so much for your question. This is a pretty common concern for a lot of people. There's a lot of fear and anxiety right there in Kathy's question, right? Where we're either on plan, we're following what we're doing, or it's completely off plan, and we're don't feel like we have a whole lot of control over ourselves. So really, what's going on there is we have a lot of that fear and anxiety and worry that's got us all caught up and all tangled up, right? And more than likely, a lot of the thoughts that you're experiencing, Kathy, are thoughts like, oh my gosh, if I mess up once, that means it like ruined the whole day. Or I have to start all over, or I can't even have one thing that totally ruins everything. It's a lot of what we call all or none thinking. All or none thinking. That's kind of what I'm hearing Kathy talk about here. And when we're talking about all or none thinking, we have to then begin to recognize what that's all about, where that's coming from, and then what we can do about that. So the first thing that I want to say is that all or none thinking is a perfectly natural and normal experience. I do it. Just about everybody I know do it.
I do it.
Hallie does it. There you go. We have these all or none thoughts that come through our mind. Hundreds of them, maybe even throughout a day. So what we have to begin to recognize is that this is a normal experience for our mind to generate these all or none thoughts, right? So that's the first step in kind of recognizing that. The second thing that we want to recognize about our thoughts, and this is a very common misconception, is that our thoughts don't actually control our behaviors. And that's a common misconception. I'm going to give you an example of how this works. Have you ever had the experience of, I really want to punch that person in the face, but you don't. You don't punch that person in the face. You had that thought because maybe they made you upset or angry or something like that, but you didn't. That's a perfect example of how your thoughts actually do not control your behaviors. I mean, I want you to think about if we actually were kind of slaves to all of our thoughts. If all of our thoughts controlled our behaviors, where would we all be? Probably in jail. Dead in the hospital or something. So we can begin to recognize that, one, the all or none thoughts are absolutely normal and natural. Two, they don't have to actually that we're the ones driving the bus. So what I like to do here is when we're having these all or none thoughts, I like to think of them as passengers on a bus. All right? Like you are the bus driver. And all these all or none thoughts that you're having, they're passengers on the bus. And they're going to yell at you, oh, you messed up today, you're such a failure. Or they're going to yell at you, oh, you can't do this. Or they're going to yell at you, no, don't go to the gym, you'll be embarrassed. So they're going to yell all of these thoughts at you. But here's the thing. They can't control the bus. They can't touch the wheel. They can't touch the motor, the brakes, the gas pedal, nothing. They're just passengers on the bus. You're the one driving the bus. So what we do is recognize those thoughts are very normal and natural to have. Two, those thoughts cannot control our behaviors. We are the bus driver. They are merely passengers on the bus.
I love it. Another great analogy. Nick, you're the king of analogies.
You're going to get lots of analogies today. So the best way to really explain these kinds of thought processes that we have is through analogy. So I'm glad that you like them.
I do. I mean, that visual, I think anyone can relate to. And just recognizing that you're the one that's in control. I know that really helps me when I have those sort of thoughts that say, well, you already, went off the plane a little bit. You already had one cookie.
Yeah.
Eat the whole bag. Start over tomorrow, and that's just the worst thing you can do. So
there you go. There's that passenger telling you, "What's one more cookie?" And you're like, "I'm just a passenger here. I'm driving the bus."
That's right. Good answer. I hope Kathy, I hope that really helped you out. I know it helped me. So let's see. Our next question here, right along the same lines, comes from Beverly. And Beverly, there's no way I will say this right. I can't even try. Beverly A. Beverly A. says, after losing 90 pounds with about 20 more to lose, I fear gaining it back like I have in the past. Since starting the Medifast plan 10 months ago, I have learned a lot of good eating habits to replace many of my bad eating habits. But there are still a few of these bad ones that linger and that scares me a little bit. I'm hoping you can provide some insight into how to break through these fears.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Beverly, so much for your question, and congratulations on your success so far. That's really, really awesome. You have a lot to be proud of. So one of the things that I just want to touch back on is in handling these fears. Again, think about that that bus driver analogy, right? That these are just those fears. They're just passengers on the bus, and you're the one driving the bus. But let's take it a little bit further. If we have some of these lingering bad habits, maybe they're overeating or getting too big of a portion size or making a less than healthy choice or something like that. We have some of these lingering behaviors, and there's two things that we can do that's going to be really, really helpful. And the first one is called the mindful pause or stop. The mindful pause or stop. It's S-T-O-P. And here's how we do the mindful pause. So if we get in a situation where we're going to start eating and we fear that maybe we're going to overeat, maybe that's the habit that we're struggling with, we slow down. We want to slow down first. And that's the first thing that we want to do. Slow down, take a breath, plant your feet onto the floor, really ground yourself in the moment that you're experiencing right now. So you want to slow down. T, you want to take note. Take note of your thoughts and feelings right before you're going to eat, right? So you want to say, what is my mind telling me right now? What are these thoughts that I'm having? What are these feelings that I'm experiencing? Identify them. I'm having the thought that. I'm having a feeling of anxiety or boredom. You want to identify what these things are. And then you want to O, which is open up. Now this is the step that's really, really important. A lot of people will tell you to just don't think that way or do something to distract yourself from your feeling. I'm telling you to do the exact opposite of that. O, open up to them, meaning allow those thoughts and feelings to just be there. Don't struggle with them. Allow yourself to experience those things. Be with those things. Sit with those things. The problem happens when we begin to struggle with our thoughts and feelings, when we try and get rid of them. And I'm going to give you another analogy. Here's another analogy, Hallie, especially when we're struggling with maybe feelings like boredom or anxiety or stress or things like that. These kinds of feelings, dealing with them are like quicksand. Right? Think back to those old movies where the villain is chasing the damsel and he falls into a pit of quicksand. And what happens? He struggles, and that sucks him down faster. Right? How you get out of quicksand is actually you lay back. And it's against every instinct in your body, but you lay back and you eventually float up to the surface, and then you can grab onto a vine and pull yourself out. That's exactly what I'm talking about when I say open up to these unpleasant feelings we might have or unhelpful thoughts that we might be experiencing when it comes to overeating and things like that. We actually want to open up and experience them and stop struggling with them so much. They're painful, they're unpleasant, we don't like them or want them. No way. But when we allow ourselves to experience them, then we can do the P and stop. S-T-O-P is pursue our values, which means pursue what's really deeply meaningful and important to you. When we allow ourselves to stop struggling with our thoughts, struggling with our feelings, then we can actually make the choice to pursue what's really important to us, like healthy portion control, making healthy choices, maintaining physical and mental health. So I'm just going to run through that mindful pause one more time. It's S, slow down. T, take note. What is my mind telling me? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? O, open up. Experience those things. Let them be. Don't struggle with them. Let them come. Let them go. P, pursue your values, meaning pursue what's really important to you. Identify what's truly and deeply meaningful to you and go after that.
That's great, Nick. That really is very helpful, taking that pause. And,
yes, so important.
Thinking about what's going on. And then I love, again, she said, going against your instincts, not struggling, and just recognizing. That's really great. Thank you, Beverly. I hope that helped you.
Good luck, Beverly.
Okay, so we've got one more here. I was having a volume problem, so I hope that I figured it out now. Nick, does
You're coming through
okay?
Loud and clear to me, so.
So we're going to find out, Debbie J., what makes us sabotage ourselves once we lose the weight?
Great question, Debbie. That's an excellent question. And self-sabotage comes down to two things. It's what's known as, I'm going to use a lot of psychobabble terms here because I think that they're really fun. One is called cognitive fusion, and the other one is called experiential avoidance. Experiential avoidance. These are the two things that lead us to self-sabotage. So let me talk about the first one, cognitive fusion. Well, cognitive obviously means our thoughts, our thought processes, right? And fusion, you can think of fusion as like being bonded or welded together. You can think of like two sheets of metal that have been welded together, fused together, right? So cognitive fusion means that we're welded or bonded to our thoughts. We're holding them very, very tightly, right? We're holding on to them very, very tightly. You can think of it like your thoughts have got you caught up in a big net. Your thoughts have control over you. I also like to think of cognitive fusion as your thoughts being like bullies. Like your thoughts are pushing you around. You can't do that. You're going to fail, or just have a little bit. Your thoughts are these bullies that are pushing you around. Now that's cognitive fusion. Experiential avoidance is where we try and avoid, suppress, or get rid of those thoughts and feelings that we don't want around. So boredom would be a feeling that we don't want, but we try and get rid of, so we might eat to get rid of it. Or anxiety is a feeling we might have that we don't like or want, so we eat to get rid of it or avoid it. So these two processes are really what lead us to self-sabotage. When we get all caught up in our thoughts, we really truly see them as truth, absolute truth. I'm going to fail. That's me fused with my thoughts. Or we see them as something incredibly important that we have to focus on right now. I'm totally fused with that thought. Or we see it as the most important thing in I have to focus on this right now, that I'm really fused with my thoughts. And you can see that when we are fused with these thoughts, we're really caught up in them. It's like they dominate our consciousness. It's like all we can see. So I'm gonna do a little experiment here. We're gonna try and do it as best we can with the camera. So I want everybody out there to kind of take their hand out like this, and I want you to go ahead and put it in front of your face. Put it right in front of your eyeballs. Now you're not looking at me, but just keep them right there in front of your eyeballs. Now, as you're doing this, you can't really interact. You can't interact with the video play right now. You're probably missing maybe even things that I'm saying because the hand is right in front of your face. You can't really see what's going on. Okay, now everybody out there, I want you to slowly pull your hand away from your face, pull your hand away from your face, and set it down in your lap. Set it down in your lap. Okay, now cognitive fusion is like when your hand is in front of your face. It's all you can see, your worries, your fears, your self-criticisms and self-judgments and all of those things. It's like that's all you can see. It's in front of your face. You can't interact. You can't make good choices. You don't know what's going on. You're not really present in the moment. Now, we want to learn how to detach or defuse from those thoughts. That's pulling them away and setting them down. We haven't changed the hand. See, the hand is the same? Same hand, same thoughts. But now they're away from us. We can interact now. Now I can see Hallie. I can see my computer again. Hey, there she is. I can see everything that's going on. So what we want to do is we want to learn how to defuse from those thoughts. So identify those thoughts that sabotage you. I'm a failure. I'll never be able to do it. I cheated, so I guess that means I have to start all over. I've regained some weight. I guess that means I'm a failure. I can't go to the gym today. I'm too busy. I'm too tired. I can't sign up for that class. It's too expensive. All of these things are thoughts that we fuse with that lead us to self-sabotage. So we need to begin to recognize those thoughts. And then the second piece is that experiential avoidance. When we try and get rid of feelings like boredom, we try and get rid of or suppress anxiety, get rid of or suppress loneliness, things like that, by eating. Unfortunately, what we have to do is learn how to actually experience those things. Remember, like I was talking about before, that open up with that STOP, that stop, open up and learn to experience these things. So the two things, again, to recap, that lead us to self-sabotage are cognitive fusion. When our thoughts were fused with those thoughts, we see them as absolute truth or important or all we can focus on, and they're blocking us from really making good choices. Or when we are unwilling to experience negative or unpleasant feelings like boredom or anxiety or stress. And we choose to eat to try and get rid of those things. So those are the two things that really trip us up. So there you go.
That's really, really good, Nick. I think having the insight into why, I think that can really help a lot of people.
Huge.
Because it's hard to solve a problem if you don't even know why it's happening in the first place. So I definitely think that insight into kind of what's going on and why this happens, Debbie, that was a really great question to kind of get into the why this occurs before then we can deal with, you know, the other great stuff that Nick's talked about, actually, you know, keeping that fear from stopping us from, you know, maintaining our goals. So awesome. Good question.
Definitely.
I think we've got time for at least one more. I'll do one more and then we'll see kind of how we go.
Sounds good.
So this one comes from Laura, and she says, I feel as if I am dreaming, and I'm going to wake up and I'll still be 40 pounds overweight. I start transition next week. Way to go, Laura. That is awesome. I'm a runner. Would running be an effective way to keep the weight off, or what happens when I start eating regular foods? So this is a little bit of a nutrition kind of component there, and just so everyone knows, we got a lot of nutrition questions. We are going to be answering those in a later session with some of our nutritionists. But Nick, I chose this one because I really like what she says in the first part here. I feel like I'm dreaming, and I'm going to wake up and I'm still going to be that person I was 40 pounds ago. And I think that that is something we all can relate to. You know, this may even come into, you know I still have jeans from when I was maybe a size or two bigger, and it's like you can't kind of let go that you're still that person that you were before you lost the weight, and it's kind of hard to believe that you're not dreaming and that this really is who you are and what your life is now. So maybe you can give us some insight into how to connect that and make it our new reality.
Absolutely. This is a great question, and I'm glad that you pointed out, Hallie, that we did have a lot of great nutrition questions and exercise focused questions. So those things are a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, but I think that you're absolutely right that this, I feel like I'm dreaming, that difficulty in accepting our new body and this new lifestyle and really this new maybe person that we see in the mirror can be quite a challenge for a lot of people. And in fact, I actually did write a blog post about it, medifastblog.com. There's a blog post about it, about accepting your new body. So I'd love to have an opportunity to talk a little bit more about that. And Hallie, I do the exact same thing. From when I was a little heavier in grad school, I was actually going through my closet just the other day, and I had 3 hooded sweatshirts in there that could fit 2 of me right now. You know, I don't know. I would have been swimming in them back then, but you know, I was a little heavier back then, and you know, I can't believe that I had held on to them for so long. So this is absolutely another normal, natural experience for us to go through. And one thing that's going on here is that it actually takes our mind a little bit longer than our body to get where we are. Like, our body makes all of these wonderful changes, and maybe we're even enjoying new healthy foods that we didn't enjoy in the past, or maybe we're loving exercise and we hated it in the past, and our body has made all of these changes, but it takes a while for our brain, for our mind really to catch up. It just takes a while for us to catch up and accept. And a lot of things that are going on there is we probably have a lot of these thoughts. Like, that's not me in the mirror, or as she said, I think it was Debbie. Is that Debbie? Sorry about that.
Oh,
Debbie
no,
was saying. Laura, I'm sorry. Debbie was the last one. Laura was saying, I think I'm dreaming, like I'm going to wake up, like it's not real or something like that. So we might have these thoughts. It's not real. That's not me. Everybody says that I've lost weight, but I still see a fat me in the mirror, or I don't see this new healthy me. A lot of people experience this, and so we have these thoughts, right? And a lot of them come in these very judgmental thoughts, right? That's not me. I'm still fat. I'm still overweight. You know, I'll never, you know, really be that thin person or that person that I want to be. And so it's these thoughts, again, that get in the way of us accepting our new body, you know, really accepting this new and healthy body that we have. So here's what I like to do in this scenario. I like to think of my mind as a judgment factory. Like my mind manufactures all these judgments all day long, right? And it's a good thing that my mind does manufacture these judgments, because it also manufactures judgments like, is that fruit ripe or not? Is this car worth the money? Is that person really my friend? These are all really important judgments we make on a daily basis, perhaps, right? So it's a good thing that our mind is a judgment-making factory, right? But the problem is when we turn that judgment-making factory on ourselves, and we have all of these self-criticisms, and we see ourselves as fat, or we see ourselves as overweight, and we have all of these nasty, painful, scary things that we tell ourselves. So here's what I like to do. Whenever my mind starts telling me things like, you're still not good enough, or, yeah, you know what, you screwed up yesterday, so, yeah, you're going to think about that for the rest of the day. Or, you know what, people aren't going to like you on that Google chat, or things like that. You know, we have these negative judgments that our mind says. So here's what I like to do. I say, aha, there's the judgment factory. I call it out. I recognize when my mind turns into a judgment factory. There's the judgment factory. There it is right there. And me recognizing that gives me some space. Remember my hand in front of my face from that previous example? All I can see are these judgments. There's the judgment factory. It creates this psychological space in between myself and those thoughts. So I say, okay, there's the judgment factory. That's a natural, normal thing. My brain is just doing what brains do. Brains judge. It's how they work. It's how we decide whether or not that's a good thing to eat or a bad thing to eat, or that's a good person to be with or an unhealthy person to be with. My mind is just doing what a mind is supposed to do, make judgments. And that's a normal and natural thing. So once I'm able to detach myself in that way, recognize the judgment factory, recognize that my mind is just doing what mind does, then I have the space to be able to make a healthy choice for myself. And maybe that healthy choice is saying that you look nice, or being kind and compassionate to yourself. Because Laura, I'm sure that you've made some incredible progress and had some incredible success. So recognize that judgment factory. Recognize that that's a normal and natural thing. Your mind's just doing what it is supposed to do. And then go after something that's important to you, like being kind and compassionate to yourself. So there you go.
I love it. That's great, Nick. I mean, and I think that's a big takeaway. Really, at least one of the takeaways from this is that all of these sort of fears, all these judgments, these things, you're not alone. This is normal. This is how, we're just built to work. And so the key is taking what Nick told us today and really using those skills to recognize that, hey, this is just another natural part of the weight loss journey. And, there are ways to deal with this. There are tools to deal with this. And, we'll get through it. And we should really be proud, of what we've done and where we got. Right, Nick?
Well said, Haley. Well said. Absolutely.
Thank you. So that's about all we have time for today, but like Nick and I both said, we got lots of really, really great questions, so we're definitely going to have another one of these in the near future. Look for it, very soon in November. We'll be answering a lot more of your nutrition questions. We'll, definitely let us know if you have more topics you want Nick to cover, because we'd love to have Nick come back and do another one. What do you think, Nick? Did you like it? Would you do another one with us?
I loved it. This was great. I had so much fun just talking with you today, Hallie, and answering some people's questions. They had some really great questions, and I think that you said it perfectly. That hey, at least we all know that we're not alone in this, right?
That's exactly right. Well, Nick, you did a really great job. I think everyone's very appreciative that you were with us today. And if you guys liked this, we've done some more in the past as well. You can subscribe to the Medifast YouTube channel, and you can see all the great videos that we've done, and we'll just keep you aware of the ones that are coming out too. So thanks very much for joining us, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Bye, everyone.